Boomer Jehovah's Witnesses are a unique demographic. They've seen a lot. The organization that they grew up in is completely unrecognizable today. You got boomers who are, yes, they're brainwashed, but they mean well. They're genuinely good people. And then, yes, you have the absolutely insufferable types who would rather go down with the ship than ever admit they were wrong. Right? So here are 8 bitter truths that Jehovah's Witness boomers are being forced to reconcile in their twilight years. Boomers were told from the time they were small children, you're never going to get old in this system of things, in this world. You're never going to grow old because paradise is going to come. And here we are. 2026. That's a tough pill to swallow. You've been told to stay faithful, follow instructions, follow direction, obey. They've been waiting patiently, enduring, waiting for this thing to happen. You're 70, 80, 92 or whatever. And I feel specifically really bad for the ones who truly believe it. I'm going to see my Walter again in the resurrection. They've been holding on to the resurrection hope. Paradise is going to bring relief from their health problems or financial struggles. Watchtower lied to them. It's easy to laugh. But, imagine that's all you knew your whole life. I feel really bad for this particular group. But then, as I alluded to earlier, you got the boomers where time and age hasn't taught them a damn thing. All right? It's bad enough that you're getting older, right? Now your kids are getting older. Why is this a tough pill for you to swallow? Because your children have left. They've moved on. They're happy and healthy. Their lives didn't completely fall apart when they left Jehovah. And you haven't been vindicated yet. The sunk cost with these boomers, this specific set of boomers, specific subset, the sunk cost is way too high. You're far too self-righteous and obsessed with your own vindication that you are willing to sacrifice reality, sacrifice a relationship with your children and grandchildren, because your kids are having kids. You're willing to sacrifice that, to be right. These boomers in particular are motivated purely by their pride and resentment. You're never going to be able to admit you're wrong. These individuals, their pride will literally kill them. But that's okay because, like someone else we all know, you're clearly getting your reward in full. Do you know how many brothers over the years, over the decades, got shit from the elders for growing a beard, getting a little stubble, growing their beard, but pedophiles were given a second chance to run entire congregations? Do you know how many sisters are now in their 70s and 80s, grew up for decades from the time they were little kids, little girls, told to wear skirts and pantyhose or dresses, or their worship wouldn't be acceptable to Jehovah? It's like negative 19 degrees in Detroit in the middle of February. They got to throw on their damn skirt and pantyhose knocking on doors. You know how many witnesses could have just rolled up after work in whatever you're wearing and make it to the Kingdom Hall? Or if you have to change, how many sisters could have been more comfortable in some slacks? It's like, so what? He didn't shave. He could be at the bar throwing back a Heineken. Instead, he's at the Kingdom Hall with a beard. Who cares? Then overnight, boom, dress code change. And you can't say anything, right? As a boomer, you can't say anything. You can't go, what? All those decades. They just spring that change on you. You can't question it because then you're not what? You're not respecting Jehovah's appointed men. You've been well trained for decades to not talk back. Okay, so you got boomers who they truly believe it. They're mentally fully in, whether you still believe it or not. It's just it's all you know. You've been doing the same routine for years. You're not going to change now, but you're secretly kind of awake, or it's BS. Whatever category you fall into, possibly, maybe you brought people into the quote truth. So you got to reconcile the fact that you had Bible studies and possibly recruited people into this. At one point, you stood at someone's door, gave them the pitch. They bought in. You brought them into the organization, they converted, they raised their kids in it. And now everybody, fast forward all these decades later, they haven't seen their reward. Paradise hasn't shown up for them, even though that's what you pitched to them. Because that's what you believed, and maybe you don't believe it now. This is a tough pill to swallow. You might have to reconcile the fact that you passed down this toxic legacy This toxic watchtower legacy, not that you did it on purpose, unwittingly, you had good intentions, but you passed down this legacy to strangers. Now they're stuck inside, or maybe they ended up leaving and, they had to deal with the fallout of leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they had to piece their life back together. Boomers were told college is a waste of time. It's going to expose you to satanic thinking, independent thinking, sexual immorality. Translation, we can't keep track of you and control you if you go to college. You're going to learn things that go against our authority, our perceived authority, our ideology, and our teachings. All right, boomers were pressured to turn down scholarships, take low-paying jobs, and dedicate every scrap of their energy and resources to peddling pamphlets, and as a consequence, their families suffered needlessly. Why the hell they didn't take a page from the Mormons? They got their own shit. But the Mormons, they have their own college. Scientology is insane, but at least they're rich. Or I should say there's an echelon of rich people in Scientology. Then you got the ones who are stuck on a cruise ship making 2 cents an hour. But damn, send your people to college, universities. Let them make tons of money and then they could funnel it back to you, you morons. But make no mistake, you got boomers who really resented this and then encouraged their kids, Gen X and millennials, to go to college. And then they got crap for it, the parents and the kids. But now, in 2026, attending college is now a matter of conscience. They micromanage every goddamn factor of your life. I'm going to do a little switcheroo now. Completely walked it back, their anti-college stance, with zero acknowledgement or apology for the damage they inflicted upon generations. Specifically, in this case, boomers. Zero acknowledgement or apology for the financial harm and damage they inflicted on countless families. Okay, so the blood policy change. This is principally the most evil change they've made. I'm not going to do a deep dive here. In a nutshell, Jehovah's Witnesses for 50 plus years had a ban on blood transfusions, couldn't get a blood transfusion. And they made this tiny little tweak, this little policy change as of this year, where basically you can have certain procedures done. Again, I'm not going to get into it. You can have certain procedures done that would require blood. Imagine talk about a tough pill to swallow. Imagine all the fleshly brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, children. They lost loved ones. You've birthed babies. You've paid a mortgage. You have seen actual wars and pestilence. You have lived life. You've earned your damn ticket. And still at this age, you're going to let 12 bozos in upstate New York censor you. If you were to speak up, you'd be considered subversive. You would be punished. Some boomer parents never learn. You genuinely thought shunning your child would work. Don't worry, honey. They'll come to their senses. Don't worry. They'll miss us. They'll come crawling back when Nope. And you know why? Because they have self-respect. They're not playing the game. So imagine you've been shunning your son, daughter, 10, 15, 20 years, insane, 30 years in some cases, whole lifetimes. And you're like, oh crap, it didn't work. Oh no, honey, the world doesn't revolve around us and getting our approval back. They figured it out. Oh no, our manipulative bullshit didn't work. That's why I say if you're like a PMO or whatever, you just keep jumping through these hoops, walking on eggshells. Your life is stressful, tense, the relationship is strained. You're doing this shit for years. For what? Nobody wants this. Let me be clear. No one wants this. If you love mom, of course, it's a no-brainer. You want to keep mom in your life, but you are keeping her in your life. She's the one who's prepared to kick you out. What is mom adding to your life? Is mom making your life better? How's it going living with a threat? How's mom and dad threatening you going for you? Your relationship is built on a threat. I'm sorry, your relationship is not what you believed it to be or would like it to be. I mean, just think about it. It's not sustainable. And if you are going to keep holding out hope that your parents are going to magically change one day, then that's a tough pill that you're going to have to swallow. The end is not coming. It's not coming. And I want you to think about this. Even the organization is trying to say that without saying it. Even the organization is suggesting, alluding to ever so slightly, hey, we understand that it might be disheartening for you to realize or have it sink in that you might not my words, theirs, you might not see the end of this system in your lifetime. If they just say we're all bullshit liars and scam artists, obviously everybody would leave. They can't say that. So they got to tiptoe around it very carefully. Boomers wasted their lives slaving for this corporation, this counterfeit religion, suppressing their doubts. Or maybe there's just, this sincere disappointment because, again, they actually believed it. They really believed it would bring relief from their suffering, their financial struggles, health issues. And here's the thing, they still do. They still do believe, because they still believe. They're disappointed it hasn't come yet. And they got like 2 seconds left to live. But other boomers are resigned. They're not so Pollyanna. They know it's not coming. They know it's not happening. But it's their whole life. In their minds, it's just like, well, why stop now? Everyone's entangled and our families are all embedded. Boomer Jehovah's Witnesses, whether you believe it, whether you don't, this is a tough pill to swallow. You've lost relationships. You've lost time. You've been lied to. What now? I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like more information about the Jehovah's Witnesses insider culture from a former member of 30 years, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.